Hi there, a very warm welcome to our YouTube channel, Online University Courses, specially designed to make education easier. This is Fareha Umam, a microbiologist by my educational background. So let's start with the first lecture of microbiology stream, which is about the microbial world. So what is microbiology? Microbiology is a form of advanced biology. Ideally, students taking microbiology should have some background in biology. As you know, biology is the study of living organisms, and in the same way, microbiology is the study of microorganisms. So, now, if we split this word microbiology, it is constituted of micro, which means small or tiny, bio means life, and logy means to study. Therefore, microbiology is the study of very small living organisms which can be called as microorganisms or microbes. And these small living microorganisms are too small to be seen clearly by the unaided eyes. Hence, the invention of microscope took place which allowed these small life forms to be visible. So, here is how a microscope looks like. Now, I guess your first introduction to microorganisms may have been when your mother warned you about germs. In all likelihood, your mother was first microbiology instructor. Not only did she alert you to the fact that there were invisible critters in the world that could harm you, she also taught you the fundamentals of hygiene like hand washing and all. Although germs are not a scientific term, but these are disease causing microorganisms that are technically known as pathogens. Now, as you know, the cell is the fundamental unit of life. So, most of the microorganisms are unicellular and some are multicellular. In unicellular organisms, all the life processes are performed by a single cell only. However, in multicellular, they have more than one cell. Now, two fundamental different types of cells exist among microorganisms. They are prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So prokaryotes are microbial cells that lack membrane-bound nucleus and organelles, whereas eukaryotes possess a membrane-bound nucleus and organelles. Here are some of the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So plasma membrane is present on uh, both prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. Internal organelles are present in prokaryotes while absent in prokaryotes and present in eukaryotes. The genetic or hereditary molecule uh, is DNA in both cases, but in prokaryotes, DNA is single circular bacterial chromosome not enclosed inside a nucleus, and in eukaryotes, DNA are multiple with linear chromosome enclosed inside a nucleus. And the site of ATP generation is cytoplasm or plasma membrane in case of prokaryotes, and cytoplasm and mitochondria or chloroplast in case of eukaryotes. Now, here is a picture of a prokaryotic cell, and this is a eukaryotic cell. Now, the classification systems for microorganisms. Earlier, these were divided according to the five kingdom system of classification, and now it is under the three domain system of classification. So now The five kingdom classification is based on cell type and mode of nutrition. And the kingdoms are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Microorganisms, except for viruses, which are acellular and have their own classification system, were placed in the first three kingdoms. Presently, through advances in cell biology, biochemistry, genetics, and all, microorganisms are now placed into three domains, each of which comprises of various kingdoms. Now, these domains are bacteria, which are prokaryotic and are also known as true bacteria, then archaea, which are also prokaryotes and are known as ancient bacteria, and the last domain is eukarya, which are eukaryotic. Now let's discuss these domains one by one. So bacteria are prokaryotic. These are single cell organisms and they lack membrane bound nucleus and organelles. Mostly bacteria have cell wall made up of peptidoglycan and they are found in soil, water, air, or they can also be found on the living beings and they can be harmful or others can be beneficial to the man. The domain Archaea was formerly known as Archaeobacteria. They are prokaryotes having single cell. They lack membrane bound nucleus and organelles. They have unique membrane lipids and they are found in extreme environments. Now let's have a look at on what basis domain Archaea is distinguished from bacteria. So there are differences in ribosomal RNA sequences, absence of cell wall in Archaea domain, and presence of unique membrane lipids. Now coming to domain Eukarya. So the major groups of microorganisms in this domain are protists and fungi. Now protists are further divided into algae, protozoa, slime molds, and water molds. Talking about algae, these are simple organisms which are mostly unicellular. They are photosynthetic together with cyanobacteria and they produce 75% of the plant's oxygen. They are found in aquatic environment and are also the primary producers in the food chains. Then protozoa are unicellular and eukaryotic organisms. They are mostly animal-like in resemblance and are motile usually, but and maybe free-living or it can be pathogenic too. Then next are slime molds, which have different stages of life cycle, and water molds are found on the surface of fresh water or moist soils, and they can feed on decaying vegetation also. So these were the protists. Now coming to fungi. Fungi are such microorganisms which ranges from unicellular to multicellular. And unicellular forms like yeast and multicellular like molds and mushrooms. These multicellular fungi have thread-like structures which are known as hyphae. So these fungi absorb nutrients from the environment and many of the fungi play beneficial roles while other causes diseases in plants, animals or humans. Then next are viruses. As I have told you earlier that they are the acellular entities which are classified as a separate system. And these are the smallest of all organisms which need a host to carry out different metabolic functions. So they can only be seen through electron microscope and it causes many diseases of plants, animals and humans as well. So this was it about the classification of microorganisms. Now you may have wondered how long microorganisms have existed on Earth. Scientists tell us that the Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, and the first 1 billion years of Earth's existence, there was no life on this planet. Now, fossils of primitive microorganisms have found that in ancient rock formations in Australia about 3.5 billion years ago. However, for the first microorganism on Earth were archaeans and cyanobacteria. So, ending this video for now, and we'll be coming back with further topics. Till now, stay connected with online university courses. And for any information regarding the subject or their teachers, you can freely contact us through email at ourchoiceouc@gmail.com. Thank you.